Hiya, and welcome back to A Masquerade in the Woods. The game that teaches us that running away in the middle of the night to avoid... consequences is possibly your best option if you are trapped in a world that you're not familiar with. Anyways, let's just hop right in. I should have added a cooldown to that redeem. Hey! I push myself off the wall. Tiny, where? She tries to hold me back, but I shake myself free, pushing past the table. Hey! Get back here! They turn, walking down the corridor across the water. So I follow, picking up the pace, but the closer I get, the further away they drift. Almost sprinting, I run them down the corridor. Hey! Oh wow. Until my movement comes to a sudden halt by a large tuft of white fur, and I find myself out of breath on the damp wood. A massive paw grips the front of my hoodie tight, belonging to the colossal figure towering above me. He effortlessly lifts me off the floor, slamming me back down. The wood gives out. I reach up to grasp at his forearm as I hang freely above the rushing water below, legs swinging. Pull me up! My voice is drowned out by the water, but the pale dog looks down at me with a confused expression. Another shot echoes out and the Goliath flinches back. He slowly turns to look, holding his other arm out, where blood freely runs through his pale fur. He looks back down the corridor just before another large canine smashes into him, tackling him to the ground and losing his grip on me. I scramble to grab the edge of the broken floor, splintering wood piercing my digits as I hold on for life. The two canines disappear out of view, snarling as they throw their fists freely. I try to pull myself up, but the pain in my left arm stops me. Help! I look down at the rushing waters. Maybe I could just let go. We're going to stop for a bit and let the ad play. I don't fucking know. I'm gonna do something real quick. I should have done this. I have been in a rush for the past 5 minutes. Just trying to get everything all set up. Alright, there we go. And we're back. Maybe I could just let go. Fall. No. No, you fucking dick. This is not the time to be thinking shit like that. Another set of footsteps vibrate through the floor, light ones. Shit! The possum slides to a stop only a meter before the hole, tentatively stepping closer on shaky legs. Ink! Pull me up! Shit! Timing rush. I love that redeem too. It is probably my favorite redeem that I have done. But timing. Shit, shit! He hesitates, rocking back and forth. Fuck, nubby! His paws cup his masked muzzle. You gotta pull me up! My fingers are slipping. Ink's head shoots back and forth between me and the hallway. Fuck. Something slams against the floor down the hall, followed by rapid steps. The rabbit tosses something to the possum as she kneels in front of the hole. Far. She grabs my forearm with both paws, pulling. My legs swivel as my claws dig into the rotting wood until I manage to get my knees onto firm ground. Just as quickly, we all scurry up behind barrels and debris littering the sides of the hallway. You good, Tiny? I don't respond. I duck my head despite being behind cover. Woo! This shit's fucking wild! A pained howl echoes down the hall from where the two canines disappeared. Ah, shit! Giant! Ink lunges forward, same direction as the two canines earlier, tossing the pistol across to us. The gun lands on my lap, slide locked to the back. You know how to use that thing, Striped Tail? Doc reaches back, pulling a fresh magazine from her pocket, holding it out. I nod. Yeah. Picking the pistol up, I press the magazine release, watching the empty piece of metal fall into my lap. Insert the new one, release the slide, make sure the safety's off. Doc stuffs the empty one in her jacket, instead pulling out another canister, pressing it to my chest as she peeks over our cover. She grabs my shoulder, locking eyes with me through the dark lenses. 30 seconds, alright? Then we're leaving. I nod. Once that's up, you grip this tight and pull this pin. She demonstrates on the metal tin in my paws. And throw it. Got it? Got it. Repeat it. 30 seconds, hold it tight, pull the pin, throw. She claps my shoulder, luckily not the one hurting. I also love the art on it. Good. I'm getting the others. Don't fuck up this time. Don't fuck this up. She sprints down the hall, crouching to stay low. I take a deep breath, crouching behind the barrel. 30 seconds. Hold the canister tight. Pull the pin. Throw. Then what? Get out? How? Fuck, how many seconds have passed? I shake my head, turning to face the gunfire. I slowly peek above the ledge. A silhouette peeks around the corner. I grunt, feeling the shockwave echo through my left arm. Come on. Arms bent, shoulders down, line up the sights. Was that a warning shot, little raccoon? What? I've never seen you miss before. Put the gun down and step out. Oh, please, aren't we past the formalities? I'm almost hurt. I don't know you. Two months you're off the radar, and this is how your encore begins. Come now, we both know you don't shoot to kill. Things have changed since last time. Oh, I'm aware. Falk is dead. He deserved it. Did he? Yes, I'm sure he did.
So do you.
And so do you. The hyena steps out into the hallway, gas mask strapped over his muzzle, lenses dark. Oh, Riot. We both do. I'm fine with that.
No, fuck that.
Were you truly willing to die? Just to kill me?
No, kill me.
Yes. My arms are shaking. Now that's an interesting turn. I wonder... Arms bent, shoulders down, line up the sights. He lifts his arm, gun in paw, towards me. Will the bloodhound mourn for you?
Kill him.
Tiny! Shit. The prince hurls down, backing up into the table to steady himself. I drop the pistol, fumbling for the canister at my feet. Hold it tight, pull the pin. Throw. The metal tin rolls down the hall, coming to a stop at the hyena's feet. I'm out of here any way you can. Footsteps fill the silence behind me. I hope you know how to swim. Before I can turn, someone grabs my hood and pulls me back. I choke. And I fall. Everything is silent and calm and cold. Peaceful. Drifting through nothingness, weightless. This must be what death is like. I'm so tired. Maybe I could just stay here. Drifting through the void. Just let all my troubles wash away. No more worries. No more stress. Just this. Forever. Wish you were here, Tiny. My chest burns with the lack of oxygen, but it'll pass. One breath and all the pain will dissipate, disperse, dilute into the current. One breath, I just have to open my mouth and breathe in. One breath and I will never have to surface again. You used to be so kind to me. You were supposed to take me away. Away from everything. But then you changed. And you made me believe I deserved it. And you made me thank you. You made me hate you. You made me hate myself. Fucking miss you, man. I'll never forget you, Miles. Will you remember me? If my body comes to rest at the bottom. Stay safe. Be brave. Don't forget me. I gasped for air, clambering onto shore on paws and knee as I'm pulled by my hoodie. So cold, I'm so fucking cold! They set me down against a tree, crouching down in front. She reaches back behind her head, fiddling with the buckle until her mask comes loose. Are you hurt? Her paws run through the fur around my neck, tilting my head to get a closer look. I spend another second or so coughing up water before I'm able to answer. No! Yes! I don't know! I lift my shaking paws, covered in small cuts and splinters. Her paw runs across my shoulder and I immediately suck in air through gritted teeth. She pauses, examining my face. On a scale of 1 to 10. 6, maybe 7? Her paws continue to scan me. You'll survive. I'll give you something for it once we're back up the base. Where are the others? They'll meet us there, don't worry. But Lucas, he... River grabs the back of my head, looking deep into my eyes. Cody, look at me. He'll be fine. Mason's with him. Oh, hiya. I hesitantly nod, leaning my head back against the bark of the trunk, shivering from the freezing temperature. Oh yeah, if you're wanting to use the new redeem, now would probably be the best time to use it. Like, based on what I understand, because, like, you know, River's here, Chelsea. When her When her paws reach my stomach, she suddenly pulls back, wringing her wrists out in the air. What the fuck's in your pocket? I look down, patting the front of my hoodie. Oh. I reach inside and pull out the piece of mirror from the bar. It's a wonder it stayed put well in the water. And that it didn't cut me. Yet the consequences of no cooldown without my permission. River finishes patting me down. She sits back with her legs bent, resting her elbows on her knees and rubbing her eyes. Who were they? I look at her, a bit confused until she tilts her head upstream. My eyes return to the muddy grass. He called himself the Red Prince. I think he was the guy who sent the wolf to George's house yesterday, the one who stabbed Lou. What did he want? Information. Everything that went down at the house, I think. I promised Hanson the meth we took yesterday if he didn't sell me out. But then he... A trail off, his scream still ringing in my ears. Did I get you killed? Did you die because of me? Did I kill you? Did you deserve it? Okay, and what were you doing there? I sigh. He found me out here and chased me to the mill. I thought I could hide inside, but, River doesn't answer, instead untangling her arms from the strap of her backpack. How'd you find me out here? She reaches inside, searching through its contents. Stream is not happy with us. Fuck. Yeah, no, the stream is not happy with us. We're tracing his steps, right? The place he woke up. I nod. Mason suggested the old town, something about mentioning it to you, so that's where we started. She tilts her head at my limp arm. Guess how I made you scream? Before lifting her paw, pointing at her oval ears. Could hear it across half the forest. Not sure would have found you otherwise. Yeah. I have no clue why, but Streamlabs just randomly disconnected. OBS is much better. OBS doesn't have... Yeah. I look down at my aching shoulder just as River loops the stark white bandage around the back of my neck. She lifts my arm to my chest with determination, fashioning a makeshift sling. All the while, involuntary groans of pain escape my muzzle. Why'd you... I trail off. She glances up at me for a second before turning her eyes to her work. I mean, I didn't think you did this sort of stuff. Especially not for me. Don't get used to it. Yeah. She sighs. Luke cares about you too. They both do. They wouldn't want to see you dead. I'm not sure I believe that. Pretty sure a lot of things would be better if I was. Thank you. She shakes her head, waving it off as her digits fiddle with the roll of gauze. You care about him a lot, don't you? No, because, like, the disconnections, they happen randomly. And it's just been, like, on my end, it's actually been a lot worse for a couple days. For the past, like, week or so, it's actually been horrible. So, yeah. And ad break. Is it possible for me to, like, snooze that? Can I snooze that? No. Fuck. I will try to snooze the next one. Yeah. I'm so sorry about that. Fucking technical issues. You care about him a lot, don't you? Lou, I mean. She stops, her expression changing as she blankly looks down at my arm. Oh, we've known each other since we were kids. He's like a younger brother to me. Don't get me wrong, Lou's a fucking idiot. Obsessed with these stupid comic books. No wonder he thinks himself a real sly paw. Never should have shown them to him. She pauses, taking a deep breath. But after all the bullshit he's been through... She shakes her head, closing her eyes, as if to shake off unwanted thoughts. Her paws pick up where she left off, tugging at the knot to make sure my arm stays in place. We better get back to home base. She stands up, swinging the backpack over her shoulder and offering her paw. I reach up with my good arm being pulled up to my feet. River starts walking through the swampy forest floor, and as I follow her, another question enters my mind. Did you see that tall white man? Do you know who he is? The mutt? You tell me. No, the one I ran after, the unicorn. She stops, slowly turning with a strange expression. Oh, fuck. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare them. Oh, don't you worry about it. You did give your parents quite a fright back there, but no one blames you. Playing in the water alone can be quite dangerous. She's not my real mom. Is that so? Yeah. Mommy ran away. Daddy says she's scared. Scared of what exactly? I don't know. Daddy gets upset when I ask. Perhaps Mom and Dad don't know either. No, I don't think so. Adults always know. I'm sure they wish that were the case. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap this around your arm, okay, Cody? Okay. Your hair looks funny. Your hair. It looks weird. Yeah? Yeah, it's like a pony's tail. Have you ever ridden a horse before, Cody? No, ponies are for girls. Are they now? Yeah. I find horses can be quite majestic creatures. I guess. Can I call you Colt, then? You can call me whatever you'd like, Cody. You're gonna feel some pressure around your arm now, okay? Okay. Okay, good. That's good. Looks like our time together is almost up. Are we going to the hospital? Yes, we are, and we're almost there. Do we have to go? I don't like it there. Smells weird. And the doctor is scary. It's okay. I'm here. And perhaps if you're a good boy, the doctor will give you a nice lollipop after. Do you like lollipops, Cody? Yeah. Raspberry. Well, I'm sure they have those. Colt. Yes, Cody? Will you stay with me? Until the end. Oh no, is Shepard mad? Is Shepard mad? Is he going to give us a 1-2 combo in the face? Is he going to hit us with a 1-2 buckle my shoe, 3-4 buckle some more, 5-6 Nike kicks? Shepard's head snaps sharply as her paw strikes across his muzzle. The beast's crimson eyes slowly open as he turns his head back, only answering with a low grunt. Despite the considerable force behind River's blow, the hyena stands relatively unmoved, as if made of stone. What the fuck were you thinking? The tension and slight awkwardness is palpable as they stare each other down, Shepard's muzzle in height with the rabbit's pointed ears. I stiffly lean up against the doorframe, still shivering from the improvised swim earlier. You find a panicking boy in the bathroom, and your response is not only to hold him against the wall, but to scream at him? River didn't take it well when I told her on our way hike back. He was fine. He was slitting his wrist! She throws her arms out to either side. What the fuck's your problem? Shepard, meanwhile, stands unfazed, expression cold. When it becomes clear he doesn't intend to answer, she turns away, one paw on her hip, the other pinching the bridge of her nose. Fucking unbelievable! Are you done? She turns back to him. Am I? No! You know what? Fuck this. Fuck you. What the fuck happened to you? Her expression melts from anger to one of despair. Huh? What happened to the guy who gave me a place to sleep when I couldn't go home? The guy who gave me a ride to school because my fucking dad was shit-faced and passed out in the bathtub, huh? Shepard's gaze draws away from Rivers, and in response, she takes a step forward. You changed. Ludwig made you cruel. Don't you dare. You're fucking useless. His growling voice echoes off the cold concrete around us. River shakes her head, looking up at the growling beast with somber eyes. Before turning and pushing past me, Shepard's breaths are heavy, chest rising and falling as he turns to me. I immediately let my eyes fall to the concrete floor. Shepard strokes his muzzle, stepping over to one of the pillars lining the room, placing his forearm against it, he leans forward, closing his eyes. I turn around, stepping outside. The light of the moon seeps through the thin veil of clouds above, and the smell of tobacco drifts through the air. But it's not the cheap, acrid stench of smoke, it's the warm, aromatic, almost chocolate aroma. Like the smell of a cigar, but artificial. Just off the gravel path sits the rabbit. I walk up and awkwardly sit down next to her. She lifts a paw to wipe at her eyes, taking a long drag from the small box in her other. I didn't know you smoked. Oh, fuck off! She sighs. Sorry, I didn't mean to sound... No, I know. We sit there for a moment, both observing the amber liquid inside the glass chamber. It's the first time we've really been alone since meeting at Lucas's place, not counting the forest earlier. It's a little awkward, and the previous argument inside isn't helping. You think Lucas and Mason are okay? She nods, pulling her phone out. Mason texted me a few minutes ago, so they're on their way back. I let out a sigh of relief knowing they're safe. After Lucas tackled that pale dog, I wasn't sure he'd survive. No, how he just brushed off that gunshot. What was he like? Before he changed? She lets out a weak chuckle. You know how he used to play the guitar? I look up at her, shaking my head. I don't really know anything about him. Or any of them now that I think about it. Her eyes look off into the distance between the trees. He used to be pretty good at it, too. He'd play for me out here, outside of town. Don't think I've seen him touch it in years now. Taught him to dance on that cold-ass floor inside. Dance? She nods, the edge of her lip curling in a small smile. Then there was a time he read me Plato for a week straight, just for a history assignment. I can't help but smile a little, too. Shepard reads philosophy? That's practically the only thing he read for a year straight. Huh. The sweetest guy I know. You look... I stop myself. You were pretty close. Her gaze stays distant beyond the tree line, lifting her fist to take another drag. The smoke slowly streams out of her nostrils toward the silver sky. Ah. You're not going to answer. You don't have to. I know what it's like, loving someone. No, please! Cody, I can't anymore. Please don't leave me, I love you! I can't do this anymore, Cody. Please, 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 I'll do anything, please! Cody, I'm sorry, please, I'm so sorry, just please don't leave! And get a fucking grip of yourself, man. Fuck, you're acting like a child. And then learning to hate them. Cody? What? I look up to meet her eyes, a suspicious expression across her muzzle. You zoned out. Sorry. I scratch my neck. Bad memories. She watches me for a second before turning back to the forest, exhaling through her nose. Yeah, you all fit right in. What do you mean? She looks around at the display on her vape, rapidly pressing the big button until the light turns off. Half the reason we're all here. Bad memories. The most sorry group of misfits you'll ever come across. She mutters, slipping the device into her pocket. Fit right in. I can't go back, can I? River lets out a big sigh, combing her hair back with a paw. Never say never, but honestly, I reckon you're in too deep at this point. They know you. They know that you know, and they won't stop looking. You're a liability to them, just like we all are. I can't go back. I can't leave. I'll never get to see you again, Miles, will I? Look, you... She turns to face me more straight on. You made your choice, right? You wanted to help? I tried to warn you, but that shit don't matter now. You're involved, now deal with it. I know you got the balls for it. Shit, I've seen them firsthand. Please don't talk about her balls. What? That Prince dude is involved in all this, and you just stared him down. Alone. That takes some fucking courage. He spoke as if he knew me. Never thought I'd have enemies. Don't think too much about it. A man without enemies is a man without honor. I let out a weak chuckle. Who's that a quote by? She shrugs, the side of her muzzle tugging up into a small smile. Fuck if I know. Heard it in a rap song. She pats my back, pushing herself off the ground. I'll go get you something for your shoulder. With that, she walks back up the gravel path, disappearing through the door. As I lean forward, letting out a sigh, I'm reminded of the piece of mirror still left in my pocket. I hold it up in front of me, carefully turning it in my paw, watching the low light of the moon reflect off of it. And I see myself. My violet eyes, my dark hair, my messy fur matted with river water and filth. Dirty. Like my first night here, covered in mud and blood. I don't recognize myself at all. I probably never will. Are you there? I turn the mirror in my paw. Who are you? What do you want? Are you real? I turn. Shepard stands by the door, arms crossed. I turn back, looking over the road. How's your shoulder? I try to shrug, but immediately regret the ache it causes. He sighs. What happened? Straight back to business. Was all that care just for show? I don't know. I was walking through the forest when back at the bar. Oh. You put the mask on and dunked your head in the sink. Then what? You passed out? How did you know I turned back to him. You were watching me. You brought the mask on purpose, left your bag in there because you knew. You remembered things, didn't you? Remembered? No, I saw things from before you woke up in the forest. Things you suppressed. No, they weren't. Remember what you did before. Listen to me. I shout louder than I intended. Shepard stops, looking taken aback. I push myself to my feet. I saw things I can't explain. But those were not my memories. Right? I know how to distinguish between reality and dreams. At least I used to. Now, I'm not so sure anymore. I take a shaky breath. What's happening to me? The hyena takes a deep breath, averting his gaze. I don't know yet. You're under a lot of stress. You haven't eaten, haven't slept. Any man would go a little crazy under your circumstances. Crazy? I was crazy once. They locked me in a room. A rubber room. The rubber room had rats. The rats made me crazy. Crazy? I was crazy once. Crazy enough to start hearing voices? I sigh, slumping back down on the ground. Back turned to the striped beast. I feel like I'm losing my mind. I lift my paw to wipe my eye, feeling the matted fur on my cheek. Shepard lays his big paw on my shoulder. You're not. He crouches down beside me. I'm sorry. Are you really? I realize how difficult all this must be. I shouldn't have pushed you. I just needed to know. Why'd you set me up with the mask back in the bathroom? I thought perhaps if you put it on, you might remember something. Remember? Why would I? You thought I was him. You thought I was Ludwig. He stays quiet, only answering with a defeated sigh. I swear the first time I saw you here, He shakes his head. You look just like him, Tiny. I look at him, and he looks at me. Except your eyes. And for a moment, we just gaze into each other's eyes. His somber expression emphasizes the rugged features in his face. His untrimmed fur, the lines beneath his eyes, beneath his large crimson eyes, the long scar down his muzzle. He's tired. He closes his eyes, turning his head. When I saw you with that piece of glass in your paw, You thought of him. I miss him. So much. All the time. Not a goddamn day goes by that I don't regret not going with him. For the first time I hear his voice waver from its usual stoic tone. He sounds heartbroken? Hurt? Vulnerable. I couldn't bear watching you do that to yourself. I need you. I need your help finding him. I lift my arm, just barely making out the old scars beneath the coat of fur. I'm not some battle-hardened vigilante, Shepherd. None of us are. We're not vigilantes or heroes or soldiers. We're all just doing our best. You seem pretty battle-hardened to me. Different battles, different loyalties. Not all of them physical. By that standard, we're all seasoned veterans. He carefully wraps his digits around my forearm, his large thumb gently moving through the fur. Even you. Not all scars are carried beneath the fur, Tiny. What are you doing? River rummages through the different metal drawers I can only imagine are supposed to be used for tools, now stuffed with a small pharmacy. Prepping. I'm about to ask what for, but she elaborates before I get the chance. In case they're hurt. Oh. God, we just left them. Could have helped. We should have helped. I slide down the cold pillar, pulling my knees close to my chest. I shouldn't have run in the first place. If I had just stayed, none of this would have happened. What if they're hurt? River stops her search and turns to me. Just in case. I nod. Right, just in case. I lean back against the concrete pillar, rolling my shoulder. Doesn't hurt so bad, whatever River gave me. I didn't really stop to ask what it was before I took it, but it's helping, that's for sure. I lift my arm, carefully untangle it from the makeshift sling she fashioned in the forest, and roll my wrist. Feeling my stomach growl, I put my paw over it. I'm really hungry. I can barely remember the last time I ate. Must have been that grilled cheese at Lucas's place. Maybe we can get something once they're back. I'd be surprised if they're not hungry too. The rabbit lets out a frustrated sigh, crossing the room to Mason's workbench, passing the thick metal door at the end of the long hall. I swear if that possum stole my stuff again! She mumbles under her breath. I lift my finger towards the slab of steel. What's in there? She shoots at a quick glance, shrugging. Armory. She turns back to the workbench. Whatever else Shepherd keeps hidden away. The steel door hangs heavy on the hinges, a stark contrast to the beige stone surrounding it. What else does he keep in there? Fuck if I know. Feel free to ask him yourself. I feel my stomach sink a little. He already thinks I'm hiding things. Inquiring about his secrets might just seem more suspicious. I'd rather not. Well, in that case, it comes down to whether or not you trust that he isn't keeping some weird shit back there. I don't know if I trust him to begin with. Not after what he pulled back at the bar. River scans the table with a sigh. Reluctantly, I muster the courage to ask. What happened between you and him? River shrugs her shoulders nonchalantly, but judging by the way her head falls ever so slightly, she cares more than she'd like to let on. Ludwig happened. Even while only seeing the back of her head, her demeanor seems to change. Strolled into his life out of nowhere and completely changed him. Why'd you stick around? I didn't, she hisses. But then Lou joined their group. She takes another deep breath and shakes her head, signaling the end of the conversation as her snow paw runs through her hair. I decide to change the subject, rather saying on her good side after tonight, what are you looking for? Stapler. She calls out, bending down to look through his stuff. Stapler? I stand up, rotating around the pillar, back still pressed to the rough surface. Oh, like a medical stapler. Yeah, Mason likes to borrow my shit for his arts and crafts. She lifts her paw out of the drawer, a white plastic stapler raised. Without returning it. She walks back over, placing it among the rest of the supplies she's gathered. Bandages, scissors, what looks like a plastic tube attached to a Velcro strap. She suddenly stops, lifting her head up with a blank stare. Her ear twitches, turning towards the open door, her head quickly follows. What? I dart my eyes between the doorway and the rabbit. What is it? She hurriedly makes her way towards the entrance, swiping a scalpel off the stretcher. Someone's here. She grips the metal blade, edged down, getting behind the column closest to the entrance. I follow her, getting behind the one opposite and looking out into the dark forest. Is it them? I don't know. I strain my ears trying to hear whatever she's hearing. But all I hear is the sound of wind moving through the trees and an owl in the distance. Almost there now, big guy. We look at each other before both rushing for the door. Do I need a sensor? Yeah, do I need a sensor? I think I'm safe. Okay, thank you. River slides the scalpel in the back of her pants as we jog down the gravel path to the road. And just as we reach it, two figures stumble out of the woods. Mason staggers forward, his mask buckled to his belt. Over his shoulder hang the arms of the big dog, practically carrying Lucas on his back.
You taste like sin, I wish I couldn't remember, your touch wicked, am haunted by your lips on my skin. My ghost, I can't shake you, my ghost Tilda, I feel you in my bones, no matter where I run to, no matter where I go, my ghost, I still feel you.
The canine's head hangs low over Mason's side, the mask askew on his face but still attached. They're both covered in blood. Fucking hell. Mason stumbles through the ditch, supporting himself on his free arm. We hurry over to meet them on the road. Sup, guys?
It's time to drink water. It's time to drink water. It's time to drink water. It's time to drink water.
Mason greets us with a heavy pant. River and I lift Lucas's arms off of him and onto our shoulders instead. How bad is that? Mason leans down with his paws on his knees, breathing heavily. His flattened backpack slides down his shoulder and hits the gravel with a thud. Ground with a thud. Well, we're alive, aren't we? By the look of Lucas, it's almost hard to believe. We hurriedly carry him inside to the stretcher, relieved to hear the big dog's heavy breaths in my ear, despite the overwhelming metallic smell coming off him. At least he's breathing. Mason limps up the path behind us. Removing his jacket, we lay the big dog down on the makeshift bed. River's quick to lift his head and unbuckle his mask. A part of me wished she hadn't. Comes away sticky, revealing the mess beneath. Oh, fuck! His muzzle is covered in smeared, half-dried blood, his normally cream-colored fur stained a dark red. His mouth is slightly agape, and despite the makeup, it's clear his left eye is badly bruised and swollen. Fuck. Fuck! She turns away for a second before quickly coming back around. What the fuck took you so long? River asks the possum as she begins running her paws along Lucas's body. When she reaches his chest, he lets out a low moan, tilting his head to the side. You think carrying all that through the woods is easy? Plus had to make sure we weren't followed. He lets out a groan as he drops down into the couch, having pulled a chair with him to put his leg up. God, he's hurt too, isn't he? We'll have to get him to a hospital. Cody cut his shirt. Fuck. This is all my fault. I did this. Fuck. Cody! She hands me a pair of scissors. Pull yourself together! I grab them, instinctively lining them up at the bottom of his stomach with shaky paws. No, at the same hair! Shit, right. I nod, readjusting to point to where she points, and begin cutting. River walks over to the drawers, opening and closing different ones in search of something. Shouldn't we get him to town as soon as possible? Better do what we can here first. See that fucking monster of a dog? Fuck! That mutt could take a punch. Fucking lucky to be alive. I look over to the possum lounging on the couch, realizing he must be talking about the Snow White canine. The one they called Benny. For some reason, I get the feeling I've heard the name before, but I can't place where. Yeah, someone shot him and he barely flinched. Mason nods, pulling his hip flask from his pocket. Mm-hmm. Fucker didn't give a shit no matter how many hits we landed. Strong as a bull, hit like a fucking train too. I finish cutting Lucas's shirt off, lifting it aside as River returns. Who shot him? We quickly switch positions, placing me by Lucas's head. Lucas, I think, sounded like his rifle. She dumps the equipment she gathered on the stretcher between his legs. Must have been drugged out of his mind if he didn't flinch. She runs her paw through the fur on his stomach, showing the purple bruising hiding beneath his coat. The band-aid covering yesterday's knife wound is soaked red. She gets her fingers beneath the sticky tape, pulling it off, eliciting another soft moan from the canine. He tilts his head with a groan, throwing his big paw up and placing it on my chest. I quickly grab hold of his wrist to support it. Hey there, handsome. What? I blink, looking down at the big dog as his mouth curls into a small smile, his eyes fluttering open ever so slightly. River pushes me aside, leaning down over his face, sniffing his bruised muzzle. She pulls away, turning towards the possum on the couch with a cold, deadpan expression. Has drunk. Mason casually shrugs his shoulders, lowering the hip flask from his lips. You were carrying the oxy. She groans, pressing her palm to her forehead. And it didn't occur to you that alcohol thins your blood? River practically growls at the possum, who simply shoots a glance down the flask in his paw. If he has a fucking concussion and got him drunk, you're dead! Before turning back to the intoxicated canine. And there wasn't even any oxy in my bag. I put those things where... I thought the things were supposed to be pre-packed. Blame Shep. Guess since you haven't been out much, he took out. I swear to fucking God, that hyena's gonna be the death of you all! She mumbles as she lifts a small pen above Lucas's bruised face. As she presses the back of it, I realize it's a flashlight. She carefully pries his eyes open with her free paw, examining them. Lucas, in his own sober state, lifts his big arm back up, weakly pawing at her side. Does he have a concussion? Another moment passes as she moves the flashlight back and forth. She tosses it aside with a sigh. Can't tell, he's fucking wasted. Is there anything I can help with? Massaging her eyes, she straightens her head with a sigh. Give me the stapler. I nod, turning to snatch it off the desk. River prepares a fresh cloth, cleaning the blood out of the fur around the wound. And then turn that lamp on. She tilts her head up at the desk lamp next to the stretcher. I lean forward, reaching over Lucas to get to the switch. Lucas rolls his head, throwing his arm over my back. I turn it on, but when I go to back away, Lucas holds me in place. You're so... warm, he mumbles. And wet. I carefully slide off from underneath his heavy arm, placing it down by his side. He's right though, my clothes are still pretty damp from the swim earlier. Using my claws, I open the plastic holder up to make sure it's loaded before handing it to River. She takes a quick look at it before getting to work. I awkwardly stand at her side, watching as she begins stapling his torn skin back together. Figuring I should make myself useful, I grab another cloth and begin cleaning his face. As carefully as I can, I place the cloth along his muzzle, rinsing the dried blood out of his thick fur. He instinctively tilts his head away, so I bring my other paw up to hold his head in place. He mumbles something under his breath I can't quite catch as I work the wet rag against his face. I'm so sorry, Lucas. After another couple of minutes and a few trips back and forth to clean the rag in the sink, most of the blood is gone. I step back, running a paw through my hair. Hell of a night, huh? I jump as the possum speaks up behind me, leaned up against a concrete pillar. I let out a weak chuckle, nodding with the sigh as I step over. Mason digs his paw down his pocket, pulling out his hip flask. Stainless steel, but wrapped in black electrical tape. He offers it to me, shrugging his shoulders as if to say, why not? Oh no, River gave me painkillers. I object in a low voice. So? A swig can't hurt. You deserve it, dude. A toast to staying alive. Take a swig or refuse. Oof. Hiya. Yeah. I'm pretty sure mixing... I'm pretty sure mixing meds with alcohol is a horrible idea. Hey Siri, can we die if we mix meds with alcohol? Yeah, apparently we can. So, no thank you. I glance over at River wrapping Lucas's paw in a bandage, looking like she's done it 100 times before. I really shouldn't. Pills and booze don't mix well, and drinking on an empty stomach is never a good idea. Yes, you will fucking die if you do. Mason shrugs unbothered. You're lost, dude. Before taking a quick swig himself. Hey, what happened to that prince dude? Mason asks, looking between me and River. River keeps her focus on the big dog not bothering to turn around. Raccoon shot him. Mason turns to me. Right? I sigh, nodding. Did you kill him? River stops, her ear turning toward us. I can't tell if she'd prefer if I said yes or no. No, I don't think so. Didn't look like it. Mason nods, screwing the cap back on the flask and sliding it down his back pocket. Shame! Could've dumped his corpse in the river if you did. I stroke my paw along my neck. I feel like there was enough death tonight as is. I've been here for 3 days and have already gotten 2 people killed. I shake my head. I don't want to think about that right now. I don't want to think about any of this right now. Instead, I turn to the possum, clearing my throat. So, the smoke canisters were your idea? I point a claw down at his pocket where the outline of the hip flask sits. Same black tape as a canister I threw back at the mill. Not to mention the writing on that one. Mason glances down at it, shaking his head. Nah, Shep got a hold of these. I just painted them. I raise an eyebrow. What? They looked rad as fuck, didn't they? He gives me a smug expression. I shrugged, let out a small chuckle and nod. Yeah, I guess. Gotta get more of them, though. Think those were the only ones we had. Wanna come with me? What, right now? Yeah, why not? I look over at Lucas and River. I don't know. Nubby knows what she's doing. He'll be fine. She'll get him to the hospital, no problem. Right, Nubby? She simply responds with a quick thumbs up. I'll drive you back to Lou's place after, don't worry. Plus, you really want to keep working after everything went down tonight? I open my mouth to answer, but before I can, the sound of tires rolling down the gravel road outside fills the room. River notices it too. She quickly ties off a piece of gauze, tossing the roll aside. Mason just as quickly straightens himself against the pillar, crossing his arms. It's like a parent coming home early when the kids got into the cookie jar. The tone of the entire place changes in an instant. Help me get him in the car. I quickly step over, helping her get Lucas off the stretcher. Shepard appears in the doorway, 2 plastic bags in one hand, a smaller paper one in the other. He stops as soon as he spots us approaching. Where were you? The hyena cocks an eyebrow, lifting his thumb to point at the car outside and opening his mouth to answer. Whatever, it doesn't matter. We carry Lucas towards the door, the tall beast now blocking the exit. How bad is it? Bad. She answers in a flat tone, heaving Lucas's left arm over her shoulders to adjust her grip as we stop in front of the hyena. She pauses, closing her eyes. It's clear how exhausted she is after tonight's events. I don't blame her. He needs a hospital. Shepard tenses up. We can't risk that, not after tonight. No, he needs to go. It's bad. Doc, you know we can't risk... Oh, fuck the risk. He stays here, he'll have permanent damage. She reaches back into her back pocket, the steel handle from the earlier peeking out. But Shepard raises the tone in response. Giant's been hurt while out hunting. You take him to the hospital now and blow our cover. Who gives a fuck about our cover? Lou's seriously hurt. Lucas knew what he was getting into. He doesn't need you fucking it all up. It's the first time I've heard him call Lucas by his name. Their tones immediately make it clear they've had similar arguments before, or at least heated arguments in general. This is what being a hunter means. This is what we signed up for. That's the risk we all take. He tosses the bags to the side, not taking his eyes off her to see where they land. He balls his fists and squares his shoulders as if readying himself for a fight. This is worth dying for. That's very fucking rich coming from you. She pulls the blade free from her pocket, clutching it tight behind her back. Where were you tonight, huh? Because we were all out there risking our fucking lives while you sat cooped up in here like a fucking coward. The last word echoes off the cold brick walls like a gunshot as her voice cracks ever so slightly, and me and Shep both recoil. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Mason do the same. For a second, it looks as if Shepard is ready to strangle the white rabbit right then and there. I don't dare speak. But he doesn't. He stays still, stoic as ever, as if carved out of stone, eyes fixed on River. A moment of silence which feels like hours passes as River stares up with the most fiery glare at the tall beast, her teeth bared and nostrils flaring. She forces some composure, swallowing hard. We don't have a choice at this point. He needs to go to the hospital tonight. Shepard huffs in frustrations, clenching his jaw, eyes finally leaving her and darting to the side. This is amateur. We're better than this. All this could have been avoided if he just... He lifts his digit towards me, eyes back on the rabbit, talking as if I'm not even here. And whose fault is that? River retorts in an icy tone. I can see the hyena's shoulders tensing harder, his breathing growing heavier. His implication hurts more than I'd like to admit, and certainly more than I let on. Even if it is deserved. Mason suddenly clears his throat behind us, drawing their intense stares toward him. What if we just keep it off the record? We all turn to look at him, leaning against the pillar. River blinks. What? You know, like when you took Stripe Tail there? Checking under a different name. I add, my voice quieter than I'd intended. Or not check him in at all. You want to sneak him in through the back door. The possum nods with a small shrug, not quite meeting Shepard's eyes, but looking off to the side slightly. I mean, if River works there, she wouldn't be too out of place if we were caught. I don't work nights. You should. Would make nights like these easier on your sleep. Could you fucking not? Shepard sighs, digging through his pocket and pulling out a key ring with a familiar green tag. Lucas's keys. But you're staying here for debriefing. He lifts a claw at me. River looks him up and down, snatching the keys out of his paw. You're in no damn position to give orders right now. We make our way past him outside. We're gonna leave off here tonight. So much drama. There is so much drama, and while I am here for it, yup, I guess we get to choose our route next stream. Anyways, stay safe, have a good night, and I will see you all tomorrow.